I mean, it kind of comes back to that same analogy that you used off camera about, you know, a water bottle. If you got a hole in the bottom and water's coming out, what did you put in the top? Is water.
Yep.
So if you put positivity into something, positivity will
That's
come
all they
out.
know, yeah, 'cause that's all they
Exactly.
know.
So, and it's the same thing. If you put water with ink into a same bottle, it's the same water with ink that
Yeah.
will come out. So, and it's the same analogy as what you plant as well, what you put into the ground, what you put into the soil. Your children are your soil, or your seeds, sorry. And the environment is the soil. So if you got them growing in concrete or whatever, it's going to be difficult for them to grow in a concrete jungle.
Yeah, true.
Which is the UK, the
Yeah,
US,
yeah,
whatever. These are the concrete
Everywhere
jungles.
is fast becoming the
Everywhere.
concrete jungle, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Taking back to, you know, the motherland, taking back to Africa, the Caribbean, or whatever. And if they grow understanding or having a deeper understanding of self, then, you know, there'll be growth
Yeah.
on a different level.
Did you find that like, did you find it easy to have your Nigerian or Africanness come out of you when you were in school here, growing up?
Would you mean come at me?
I mean, was it something you were proud of?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. But saying that, something that I was proud of, but I was definitely brought up to be a snob. Yeah. And all I've got to do is just remember growing up in Niger and like your parents telling you can't play with the kids outside. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the kids outside, they're in a different thing. They weren't born in London. They didn't say those words, but if you're not allowing me to play with the kids outside, yeah,
You're implying it.
you're implying it. You know, I was only allowed to play with the kids inside, you know, that my father was their landlord kind of thing. You know, there was two brothers, and a little girl downstairs. You know, we were all the same age, apart from one of the younger brothers. So it was implied. So growing up, I grew up watching a lot of TV and you know, playing with toys of my own. Growing up, you know, only time I had play was probably when I went to school, or if I snuck out to play with the kids in the area or whatever. You know, yeah, I grew up a snob. I grew up a snob because when I look back at it, and I don't like it, didn't like it at all, because they drew me up with a sense of, yes, you're born in London and you're meant to be well spoken, and it was BS, man. It was proper BS.
Yeah.
So in terms of watching TV in Niger, obviously because of certain infrastructures or lack of infrastructure that was there in the television stations at the time, although we went backwards, most of the TV station that I would watch was the ones streaming from America. So satellite TV, like Different Strokes and stuff like that, blah blah. So you're just watching, you know, a white family look after two black kids and blah blah. And in a sense, that grew me up. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be that, you know, that black kid that liked white girls. That's what I wanted to be when I was in Nigeria, because it's funny that when you're in Niger or when you're in any African country, it's funny how the people there do not really let you know about you as a black person in the world, because if you come out your door and you see, you know, 200 black people, you don't think to feel, or you don't feel to think, oh,
that you're different.
I'm different, or I need to instill the understanding of blackness or understanding of Africanness in a person. I wasn't instilled with that. So plucking me from Nigeria and taking me to the, you know, to bringing me to back to the UK. Back to the UK. So I was only in primary school for 1 year, then I went to boarding school. Okay. You know, and bringing me back, I wanted to date the Swellens and the Sarahs and all that. That's why I wanted to date, because I didn't know any better. I was just like, oh my gosh, white is right. That's what happened. And you know what? When I used to do this vlog on YouTube, there's still video on there. In fact, one of them I had to take out, ex-girlfriend. I had to chop us off. Anyway, there's a girl that said, oh, this is the BS that we always hear. When black guys always telling us that, you know, it was the environment they grew up in. I was like, how can you even argue with the way I feel or I felt at the time? And I'm actually telling you that, you know what, that television is a programming. Yeah, if you're watching television Monday to Sunday, sorry, yeah, how many ever hours a week or whatever, a day or whatever, yeah, the programs that are being programmed into that TV station to come on at a certain time will determine the type of programming that you will have.
Agreed.
So if you get in that kind of programming and I'm only watching the international stations, as it were, that didn't really have any positive black role models, and it made you feel like, this essence of what some people call white psychosis of, the white folk are saving black folk and helping us and doing this and like different
White
strokes.
man is king.
White man is king. White man is a savior type stuff. It makes you not necessarily think lowly of yourself, but it just makes you want, attracted to another race.
Yeah, and you accept the ideology that they're propelling or projecting.
Projecting. But you don't even know that it's a programming. You don't even know that it's something that has been not...
It's the Tarzan syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah. But explain the Tarzan syndrome, because I know it differently.
The Tarzan syndrome is one of... it's the white man knows he's the savior, even to things that we are supposed to be in control of. Yeah. So the white man will step in and don't worry, I'm here to save you.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of true. Like, the Tarzan syndrome is true. Like, why is it that I was a white guy that was born around, a white boy that was born around animals can now talk and control the animals,
and the black people,
that's there like, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we've been doing
and
it probably
asking
for
him that, what did the monkey just say?
And you just came yesterday, 25 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a deep one. I'm trying to get back on track with what we're talking about.
You knew you were talking about, feeding the kids with positivity.
Yeah. So the whole essence, going back to feeding our, children positivity, it's important. I know there was probably a point I wanted to link to it, but I think it's not. I know it's absolutely imperative and absolutely important that, going back to the analogies that we're talking about, the plant, the seed growing in concrete, in soil, or the water bottle, blah, blah. Whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. And me going back to talking about, my parents raising a snob, in a sense, where having to understand myself, because a snob doesn't know he's a snob. Yeah. Like, true. You don't grow up going, yes, I'm a snob and I'm proud. No.
Yeah, you never really know the kind of person you are until you have to show who you are, or you're shown who you are by someone else. Yeah.
Or you get to a particular point where one of my friends says, she calls it internal interrogation or internal dialogue.
So like introspection.
Yeah, introspection. Watch Lambo. And introspection. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like, I think once you get to the point where you're questioning yourself, you're getting to a point where you're trying to understand, overstand yourself. Because if you understand yourself, you're just under the radar of standing. You're just under the radar of standing. So you need to overstand, not under. Because it just feels like when you're understanding, it's almost like you're not quite getting it. You're just about getting to the bottom of the table for you to see what's going on the table. But when you overstand, you're overstanding over the situation, you overstand.
I get what you mean.
I still almost want to say understand again, but it's overstand, really. That's what it should be. Because words are very important. Again, I lost my chain of thought.
No, it's fine, because it's actually a powerful point that we can actually expand on. Having knowledge of self.
Yes.
Most important thing I see, especially for black people here, is we are weak. Obviously not physically.
No.
but psychologically we're weak. We are taking these projections of the other side, so to speak, and we're taking it literally.
Yeah.
We're forgetting to listen to our inner voice. You know, that inner voice where the one that keeps pushing you and urging you on. Come on, you can do it. Come on. You won't listen to that one. You're listening to the externals who know nothing about you. Nothing about you, but you're listening to their projections
Of you.
We're at a time now where we need to start educating ourselves. That is one way of
Awareness.
self-awareness and feeding yourself with positivity. Find something, proactively look for something that is going to empower you and start to digest it. Don't wait for someone to do it for you. Sit down, think, you know what, I need to be better at this. What's stopping you?
Yeah, nothing whatsoever. And it's funny you say that in terms of, you know, sitting by yourself and being in a directed, blah blah.
Yeah.
Like I remember the times when I was on my own, in a sense, is playing on my own or whatever in Nige. Yeah, that I literally used to dream, go to sleep, dream, and whatever I dreamt, it would happen a few days after. It used to scare me. But I used to tell my mum, you know, tell my dad about it. And my mum really was who I really told about it. And she was just like, wow. Went to church, you know, one of those ones.
Yeah.
Like, he's a prophet's child. Or he's a prophesying boy kind of thing. And that stuff used to scare me. So the reason I brought that up, I think, is to actually understand the power of the mind. When you spend a lot of time with yourself and you start to understand yourself on a different level, like overstand yourself on a different level, where you realize how powerful you are to basically manifest things, speak certain things into existence.
Yep.
And it's the same thing as prayer. That's what prayer is.
That's exactly
what prayer is. But then
prayer mixed with faith.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I feel like for you to pray, you got faith already.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to pray to be like, because you'd be like, hello?
Yeah, I
Are
get
you
what
there?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I guess you automatically have faith. But then this is where, in a sense, I find it difficult to take on the jacket of a religion, because I feel that that's almost like a dogma, isn't it?
But don't you need like a certain amount of dogma to be able to hold whatever you believe in?
Yes and no. I mean, you know what? I think it's about discipline, isn't it? In a sense, you know, it's about discipline, and I think it's about not just discipline. Maybe discipline is the wrong word, but I think it's about you just knowing yourself and just knowing your surroundings and understanding God, because everybody has their own perception of who God is to them. And I think it's everyone's, when I say everyone, a few people that have been sort of bucking up on or meeting seem to say they're more spiritual than say that they're Muslim, Christian, or, you know,
not
Judaism.
identifying with a particular...
You know, they don't identify with a particular religion.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've always felt from a kid, that, you know what, there's something more powerful here than segregating and the whole essence of religion. And don't get me wrong, growing up in a Christian family, it does make me feel like a sense of, I better not say that, oh, I'm going to hell if I say that. Yeah, I'm not going to hell. And funny
even if you say that,
I'm not going to hell. I'm going to heaven. But then at the same time, some people are saying that, you know what, like, heaven and hell is up to you in a sense of your life, what you live, how you live.
Yeah.
Heaven and hell can literally be on this earth right now. Everybody has a piece of heaven and everyone has a piece of hell on this earth. You know, depending
On what you believe in.
on what you believe in.
Yeah.
My biological father was a pastor. Yeah.
Wow.
He had a church in.
You say was?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he passed away last year, August.
Oh, wow, man. Sorry to hear that.
That's all right.
Did you guys get to
Yeah,
bond?
I met him for five years. I got to know him.
Oh, wow.
It was the most amazing situation, bro. It was amazing. That was like the best packed 5 years of my life. But not to take away from my first father, like, he was amazing. Amazing as well. Funny. Mr. Ogumuyiwa, funny. Funny, emotional, like in touch with his emotional side as well as his bravado side. He was funny. My biological father as well, I understood where I came from, man. I understood it. Like, I understood all my little nuances, all my little thing where I'm thinking, oh, it's just me. Yeah? Oh my gosh. No. It was my dad.
Wow.
It was my dad. Even without me growing up with him, when I met him, I was like shaking my head. Wow. Because like when I met him, I didn't see a resemblance. Yeah? Because I was still kind of like, you know.
Are you sure?
Are you sure this is the guy?
Yeah.
You know. I wasn't sure. Like, and even how I met him was this is how I know again, nothing happens for, like, everything happens for a reason. There's no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah.
But
how did you
right. Wow. So I was going back to, you know, my mum's house at this time. I think it's 2000 and I want to say 2002, 3. Yeah, 3. So it was after I found out, after my first dad told me about, you know, him not being my biological father. So it was about 2002, 2003. And I was coming home, I was going back to mum's, and my neighbor underneath her, you know, I stopped her. She's like my second mum, you know. When I was at boarding school, sometimes if I come home and I'm locked out,
she'll be
the one to be like, come and sleep on the couch, whatever. And I came back and I was like, I went to go and speak to her. She's of, is it Jamaican and Grenadian descent. And you know, was just chatting to her. She's like, oh, man, my mum gets on my nerves. Oh, no, my dad gets on my nerves, man. He said this, and that. And I was like, but at least you know who your dad is. I was like, what? So yeah, it's like, I thought the guy that was upstairs, like, Mr. Guma was your dad. I said, nah, he broke some news to me the other day, blah, blah.
Wow.
And she was like, oh, so do you know your father's name? It's me, yeah. It's like, do you know anything else? Yeah, full name, gave him full name, everything. Worked at London Underground, blah, blah. And he's from Barbados. Wow, you're half Bayesian. I thought you were Nigerian. I was like, yeah, so did I. I thought I was full Nigerian. But anyway, she literally, there was a Bayesian woman that comes to her house to get her hair done. The woman that came to her house to get her hair done was my dad's best friend. Dad's best friend. They used to party together and all sorts. Yeah? So they all both used to work in London Underground. Yeah. So it was crazy because she got in contact with my dad, who at the time was in Barbados at the time, I think. You know, spoke to him and he said, oh yeah, do you know what? Yeah, man, Timmy, tell him I said Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm gonna see him in the New Year, blah, blah. 2 years later, because my grandmother was dying at the time and he had to go and bury my grandmother. And I didn't get to meet my grandmother. So, excuse me, everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. So that connection there,
yeah, that's
was something that was interesting. Now, there's a lot of people that kind of like against the fact that I'm putting my story out there and I'm talking about it, because it's almost like a lot of black folk, we tend to do this thing where we're like, you know what, let's not tell people, I don't want people to judge us. You know what? At the end of the day, I feel like we need to understand that we're all vulnerable to a certain extent, that whatever we're going through can become a strength for someone else.
Agreed.
Yeah? And it's important to share so that
other people can learn from it.
Yeah, other people can learn from it. I was going to be more cheesy and go like, share, so we can all share a tear. Oh, That just came into my head, and I was like, I'm not gonna say it, but you made me say it. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, you know what? It's good to talk.
It is.
It's good to talk.
It is. That connection. What? Your neighbor's your neighbor's best
friend.
Yeah.
No, neighbor's client too. She does her hair.
Client
Yeah.
was your dad's
Best friend.
That's scary.
Yeah. So when I met my dad, I had to bring my hands out because I was like, I don't know, this is my. I was just like, okay, that's kind of going with it, and I wasn't shocked. I was just happy. I was just kind of like happy-go-lucky kind of thing. I wasn't really in depth with my feelings. I wasn't really. I was just kind of like, wow, like this is happening, because for me, because I never get surprised. I'm not surprised at anything in life. I'm not surprised. If tomorrow I become a billionaire, I won't be surprised, because it's just how things happen. Yeah. And I just, everything's happening. Yeah. See, it's up to you to take it as a negative or positive. But basically, what was I saying now?
About your dad.
It's a picture.
Yeah.
So taking a picture, looking at my hand, I was like, wow, the same deep indentations in my hand are exactly the same indentation in his hand. I've never come across anyone like that. Imagine all your life, you've never really thought of it. You never thought about it. But you might have done. You looked at your dad's hand, and my first dad, and looked at his hand. Oh, yeah, it's very similar. But it's not really similar until I found this guy, the same hands. Them days that I was still kind of like, oh, wow, yeah, we got similar hands, Still, there was still like a doubt of, 10% of my hand. Maybe it's not really my dad. I kind of want to do a DNA test kind of thing. But I didn't really do it because my brother, Rudy, this guy brought a picture to dad's one time. Yo, when he put that, I'll show you that picture later, because you know me for without beard and everything. When he brought out this picture, I was like, rah!
Wow.
I went back in time to take a picture. That's what it felt like. I went back in time because this was a spitting image of me.
Wow.
I was a spitting image of him, shall I say.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like it was really scary. Really scary, because that's the first time.
Uncanny.
Uncanny resemblance that you're like, I don't remember doing this. That's how bad it was. Imagine.
Wow.
Imagine.
You've been through a roller coaster of emotions, man.
But then what I want you to understand is there wasn't one point that I've ever felt sorry for myself, and because it's not something to feel sorry about.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
It's not, because
part of your story, man.
Some people expect you to, though.
Yeah,
bro.
but those are people who are sheeps.
Yeah, they expect you. They expect you to be really sad about it and blah blah, and and especially the whole hiding the truth or not speaking of the truth.
Yeah.
This is my truth.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my truth, and
Someone
it belongs
once said,
to me to talk.
Yeah, someone once said your scars are part of your part of your story. It's part of your history. This is proof of your battle.
Yeah.
So, and in some cases, the more scars you have, the more experienced you are in the fight.
Absolutely.
So
The fight of life.
yeah, it's really important that we actually do what you're doing now.
And doing what you're doing.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
How did you get into
This
life?
whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I have to explain the name first. So in programming, because I work in IT as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So in programming, there's incremental syntax called plus plus. So say you've got a variable and say a equals 1. If you say a plus plus increases by 1, and each time you see that it keeps increasing. So I thought, you know what, with what I've been through in life, and what my friends have been through in life, it makes a lot of sense to actually share our life stories, our life lessons and experiences, and help people. So each person who comes on actually says something or shares something that adds more value to our people.
More plus.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I got into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
so far the feedback has been, wow, it's been overwhelming, man.
Wow.
I showed you a
the
message.
text.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You see, this is where I feel that a lot of us don't realize like how important it is to share those things, because we've got this chip on our shoulder kind of thing where like, you know, I'm me vulnerable. I'm a man. I'm not meant to be vulnerable.
Yeah. We maybe spoke about it in the last episode. With,
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
About this whole, this alpha male syndrome where you can't be seen to be weak.
You know what? That's not even alpha male. That's more toxic masculinity. Because I talk about it in a video as well. Toxic masculinity is something that is plaguing a lot of young boys right now. That's where you're seeing them erratically stabbing each other right now. My life just shut off by itself. It was just like, you've had enough.
This guy.
You had enough.
They've seen you, so.
So, I mean, and it's good, like, just before we're about to get to the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
What was I saying again?
About the kids.
The kids and them stabbing each other and blah, blah. I lose my chain of thought if I can't hear it. It's really weird. Yeah. But the whole thing of toxic masculinity, I believe, stems from a lot of single mothers bringing up boys with testosterone. Someone that has estrogen flowing through their body will never understand what it feels like to have testosterone in their body, like full testosterone. I know men and women have, you know, almost like equal, but more boys
you can inject,
have.
You
can also inject testosterone, you know, bodybuilders and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Or if you feel you're trapped.
Yeah. You know, you can, to even get taller and stuff like that. Obviously, you can tell I did not.
Or a woman in a, you feel you're
she wants to switch. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's sort of other times. You know, I was going to say, like, obviously, I didn't inject testosterone because I'm 5'7". I wish they told me from when I was in school, you know what, you're not matching the quota. Maybe you should inject yourself with testosterone, would have been taller. You know what I mean? That would have been amazing. But basically, where toxic masculinity, I believe, comes out, where it happens, is if you were grown up by your mother and just your mother, and your mother didn't have any male influences who are alpha males to bring up or help in the understanding and discovery of you as a man, as a boy growing into a man, you will have her imprinting, her understanding of a man, onto you from where she's got all the other understanding, depending on who her father was, how her father was, depending on what other guys she has around her, for her to now try and imprint what she believes is a man.